Long time ago, in Punjab, there lived two wrestlers, Satinder and Jatinder. They lived in neighboring towns. Now, one day, Jatinder decided to go to Satinder's town and challenge him to a fight, for he had heard a lot about his prowess at wrestling. When he reached Satinder's house, he saw a young girl sweeping the stables where elephants were kept. She was Satinder's daughter, Lajjo. One of the elephants was dead. Now the girl casually picked it up by its tail and swung it across the wall, as if it were just a mouse. Jatinder was gobsmacked. He approached the girl and asked her, "Is this Satinder's house?" "Yes, he's my Papaji, my father." "Is he at home?" "Oh no, you see, Papaji has dragged our 150 carts to the forest to collect firewood. He'll be back soon. Why don't you wait inside?" No, thank you, but I'll go to the forest to look for him." Now, when he was in the forest, Jatinder saw his rival effortlessly drag his 150 carts laden with firewood. He decided to test his strength, so he hid behind a tree and waited for Satinder to pass by. When Satinder went past the tree, Jatinder held on to the last cart. Now Satinder couldn't move forward. He thought his cart was stuck in a ditch, and he came back to the back of the line to check what was wrong. And there he was, Jatinder. And he greeted Satinder with a sly laugh, and he said, "I've heard much about your power and your skill. I'm Jatinder the wrestler from the neighboring town, and I challenge you to a wrestling match right here, right now." "I see. But I don't fight without spectators around to watch," said Satinder proudly. Just then, an old lady passed by, carrying a pile of 200 rotis on her head. Rotis are flat bread. Jatinder stopped her and said, "Biji, grandmother, we're wrestlers and we're about to have a fight, and we need someone to watch us. Will you stay for a few minutes, please?" Beta, I'd love to, but you see, my son, he is waiting for me. He has taken his 4,000 camels out to graze, and he must be very hungry now. And I need to make sure that the stupid boy is not sleeping like he always does." "BJ, it won't be long. I'll finish him off quickly," said Satinder. Well, in that case, why don't you both hop onto my palms and fight? That way, I can watch you and keep walking." "What? Are you sure, BG?" said Jatinder, and he was now beginning to feel a bit intimidated about the strength of the women in this town. "Hop right on," said BG. And so the two wrestlers each jumped onto a palm and began to fight. And now the old lady had warned her son that she would bring men to hit him up if he wasn't doing a good job of grazing the camels. In the distance, the old lady's son saw his mother walking towards him with two wrestlers on her palms and thought that he was going to get badly beaten up. He quickly took out his rumal or his handkerchief and threw in all the 4,000 camels, bundled it up, placed it on his head, and began to run away. His mother saw him run and called out, Are, beta, ruk jao, wait, where are you going? I've brought you hot rotis." But the son was out of earshot. "Oh no, my son, somebody stop him, please." The wrestlers stopped fighting and told the woman to calm down, and they promised to return with her son very soon. Meanwhile, an eagle was flying overhead. It saw the bundle on the man's head and thought that it was meat. It swooped down, grabbed the bundle, and flew away. The old woman's son was now distraught. He sat down in the middle of the ground and began to howl. "Hi, my mother's going to kill me now. Hi, Rabba." The wrestlers caught up with him. Don't worry, young man, we'll help you find the bundle. And so saying, they followed the eagle all the while looking up at the sky. The eagle flew quite a distance, but soon it began to feel the weight of the bundle and couldn't carry on further. So then it decided to drop the bundle. Now the eagle was flying over a palace, and a princess was standing on her balcony looking out into the sky. Right at that point, the bundle landed in her eye. "Ow!" she said. You see, her eye was quite big, so the bundle didn't hurt her all that much. She simply took it out and threw it across the palace wall. The wrestlers and the old lady's son were right there, and they caught it. And now they all went back to where the old lady was waiting. "Ah, there you are, beta." She hugged her son. She thanked the wrestlers. And off they went their separate ways. Now Satinder was a kind man. He turned to Jatinder and said, "It is custom that a guest must be fed before sending him off. I'd like to invite you over to my house for dinner." When they reached his house, Lajjo was already making the rotis and getting the dal ready. Lajjo's rotis weren't ordinary rotis. They were as big as the moon itself. She began serving them when Jatinder looked at them and said, "I possibly can't eat these. They're much too big." "Oh well," said Lajjo, and popped it in her mouth in one go, as if it were a toffee. She ate her share and all that was left. "Would you like some dal at least?" she asked, pointing to a large drum. "I couldn't possibly have so much," said Jatinder. "Too bad then, you'll just have to go hungry," said Lajjo, and drank it all up in one go. Jatinder was astonished. First he had seen this girl pick up an elephant by the tail, and now she was eating all this food. He hit upon an idea. "Lajjo, why don't you come with me? I will present you to the king of Nabha, the town where I come from, and I will present you as the strongest woman in the entire country. The king will be pleased to have you in his kingdom." And all the while, he was secretly hoping that the king would reward him handsomely. "All right," said Lajjo. "Will I get lots to eat?" "Of course, the king has plenty." But I can't leave my house and my father behind," said Lajjo. Your father can come along, but we can't possibly take your house." "Of course we can," she said, and she dug out her house from the ground and hoisted it on her shoulder. Jatinder couldn't believe his eyes. They set off to Nabha without wasting any time. Once they reached Nabha, Jatinder went straight to the king and presented Lajjo. "Maharaj, this is Lajjo, the strongest woman in the entire country. Why, in the world even. She will be a great asset to your kingdom, Maharaj. You must have her stay." "I see. If what you say is true, let's test it," said the king. He clapped his hands. "Guards, bring me my 3 most powerful elephants," he ordered. "Can you lift these elephants, girl?" he asked. Lajjo looked at the elephants. Can I have some rope, Maharaj?" she asked. The guards brought her a long rope. She tied all the 3 elephants together and tossed them over her shoulder. Where should I throw them now, Maharaj? On the roof, on the ground, or across the wall?" The king saw this, and he was both scared and horrified at the same time. I don't know. On the roof, maybe." And Lajjo twirled the rope with the elephants and threw it on the roof. No sooner had she done that than the elephants came crashing down along with the roof and went right through the floor of the palace. The king was horrified. "What have you done, you stupid girl?" he growled. "Exactly what you asked me to do, Maharaj." "Jatinder, take this woman away right this second. and I don't want to see you or her ever again. Back home, Lajjo and her father were on the terrace laughing about the day's events. But the king was restless. He paced up and he paced down. She is a dangerous woman. She might kill me one day if I don't kill her. And so he collected his soldiers, guns and all, and approached Lajjo's house. Lajjo, from the terrace, caught sight of the approaching army. She came down onto the road and faced the king and his men. The soldiers trained their guns at her, waiting for the orders from the king. "Aha, here to kill me, are you?" she ridiculed. And with one hand, she picked up the king, his soldiers, and their guns, tucked them under her arm, and walked to the palace. And when she entered the palace, the courtiers saw this and fled for their lives. Lajjo threw the king and his soldiers in jail. She declared herself the Queen of Nabha and made her father the minister. News of her strength travelled far and wide, and no king ever dared to attack. She ruled Nabha for many, many years as a wise, kind, and brave queen.